Get that water out of the goddamn huddle. I tell you when you get a fucking water break.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is August 1st, 2019, 38 days to kick off.
Of course, we got that Hall of Fame game.
Yes, we're watching it right now. The Falcons are losing, I think. Waiting for the score to pop up. Yep, Denver 7, Atlanta 0. Second quarter, 12 minutes, 11 seconds left.
Suck it, Atlanta.
Well, you know, some people say that preseason games don't matter.
That's wrong.
We did a correlation a few years ago.
In 2013, because that's as current as it was when I updated it.
And at that time, there was a 0.47?
4.5.
4.5 correlation. It was really, you could tell the Buccaneers season pretty well by how they did in the preseason. And then we updated it, and it's a
0.51 correlation coefficient.
Yeah, so pretty high.
Once I get the spreadsheet finalized, I might post it.
Go ahead.
I don't want to make any promises.
Go ahead and say we're going to do something so we don't do it. Speaking of which, we have the Vita Vea video. We're still working on it. Had some technical issues we're still working out. Got the video all chopped up and everything. We're just trying to get some other stuff.
It's been aggravating the shit out of Ralph, so he's been in a cranky mood.
Well, if I was just doing the video, that'd be fine, but we're having to do webcam with it and backdrops.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot of work.
some other stuff. Well, I'm trying to get it set up so we can
do it efficiently. Ralph's life motto is speed and efficiency. And when things are not speedy or efficient, he gets very aggravated with it.
I will spend 5 hours on something to get it to take a minute off a day if I can get it to automate or work better.
Listen, he has a slide belt where you don't actually have to do any like loops or anything. You just slide it and clicks so he can save those 3 seconds. And then also, weren't you trying to learn to tie your shoe? Like in one thing, like that's
like
he takes it really
seconds.
seriously. I'm not gonna lie though, like you rubbed off on me a little bit, so I love my spreadsheets, and sometimes you can do a spreadsheet with just a simple adding, subtracting, whatever. You can do it yourself with your own brain, but I'll set up a really complicated. I'll spend 3 hours on a formula to get it to do it, especially if I'm going to use it more than once.
Oh, it makes a huge difference to me. Well, there's they've found, if you get into habit science, they found that you're more likely to do something you don't want to do if you make it easy. For instance, one of the examples, one of the books I read, the author of the book and his wife wanted to eat outside on their patio, but they never ended up doing it. They couldn't figure out why. So they ended up moving the table. There was like 3 steps down off the patio, and then they had the table down there on like a little concrete thing. They moved the table up onto the patio, and they started eating out every night, because then it was just a matter of walking an extra 20 feet and down 3 steps. You take that away, it was just easier. It's like going to work out. If you want to work out, go to the gym, have all your gym stuff ready. You know, don't make that a stumbling block in your way to work out, because these little things will just make you go, screw it, I'll do it later. So I try to get all that crap out of the way. That's why the video isn't out. Because Ralph has been spending hours and hours and hours trying to get this set up so that we can do these videos much more efficient in the future. I have a video game controller set up so I can do all the rewinding and fast forwarding and pausing, so I don't have to click on mouse. So
he's not going to have to sit up and click the mouse and maybe hit some buttons on the keyboard.
Yeah, because it's annoying. Fact check, follow-ups. Follow-up. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt in Game 3 in 2018 against the Chiefs on September 23rd last year. He played in Week 1 against Minnesota and Week 2 against Detroit. Quan Alexander got hurt October 21st, 2018 against Cleveland Week 7.
All right.
So neither one of them have played
in almost a year.
And they're going to go against us in Week 1 with no preseason
Yeah, not
work.
playing in the preseason. What are these coaches thinking? That is really dumb.
Hey, I'm glad. I'm happy. We really need that first week win.
Yeah, I think so too.
We cannot lose and have Quan Alexander whoop our ass. Week 2 is the big one, though. Week 2, we cannot go to Carolina and lose to the Panthers and have Gerald McCoy play well.
Almost 6 minutes in.
Oh.
Almost 6 minutes.
I was wondering why you kept looking at the clock. when I was talking.
I knew what was coming.
You were waiting for me to say his name. Did you see Cam Newton's hair on NFL Network? It was. They were talking. It was while the Hall of Fame game was going on. They were interviewing Cam Newton. I swear to God, I turned around. I thought it was a pineapple. I thought they were talking to a pineapple. What is up with that freak, man? There's something wrong with him. If I was a Carolina Panther fan, besides being embarrassed for just being a Carolina Panther fan, I would be embarrassed to have Cam Newton as my quarterback.
They love him. The Carolina Panthers Twitter account, they did a poll before All or Nothing, and they said, do you think this season of All or Nothing will make you like Cam Newton more or less? And it was like 96% said more.
Because we're Carolina Panther fans?
Yeah. I responded.
Well, obviously they've got issues because they're Carolina Panthers fans to begin with. But they like Cam Newton because he wins. Except last year.
And the Super Bowl.
And the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He didn't even try for that fumble. He fumbled the ball and then just looked at it. Just like RG3 in that Seattle Seahawks.
I don't remember that Super Bowl at all.
It really was not that exciting. It was fun watching the Panthers get stomped.
Was that when we were in the hospital?
No, that was Seattle and New England.
Okay. So then was the Carolina Panthers one the next one or the one before that? It's 2015?
The one after, I want to say.
Or before?
I think it was after. Can't remember. Follow up. I had talked about Rick Stroud copying me with the amoeba defense. I had said this defense we're going to field is going to be more like a amoeba defense.
Are you eating some crow? You got to eat some crow?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I had said, I'm not aware of anybody else using that phrase. I mean, I'm sure somebody has at some point. It's definitely not a common term. Well, I looked it up. It is a term for basketball defenses. They call them amoeba defenses.
Interesting.
Yes.
But we don't watch basketball?
I never watched basketball, so I didn't get it from there. However, the first reference I could find of it in the NFL was 2009. Some New York Giants fans were talking about it for their defense. They were basically saying, we don't know what kind of defense this is. It looks like a blob out there. And somebody said, more like an amoeba. Later, in 2012, it was used in reference to the Seahawks defense a bit. And then the Patriots defense was referred to as an amoeba defense last year and the previous year. And the Ravens defense was referred to as an amoeba defense last year. So I must have picked it up
somewhere.
Osmosisly.
Yeah.
So I give Rick Stroud a break on that one.
Okay.
He wasn't copying me.
There we go.
He didn't steal my bit.
Maybe it's like picking up popularity too.
Hopefully it'll pick up a lot of popularity with us using it this year. Follow up. The guy we were talking about, one of the guys I had mentioned, Danny Lanzana, Teeth Candy, and Landry were three players just off the tip of my tongue that really stood out to me as being playmakers. They really stood out on film. It seemed like every time they were on the field, they made good shit happen. But we couldn't remember the name of Landry, his first name. I think I said Scott. His name was Derek Landry.
Close.
Very close.
Very close.
Well, I used to know a guy named Scott Derek, so that's not true.
I'm sure.
I just made that up. His name was actually Landry Derek. Derek Scott. Scott Derek. Derek Landry Scott.
Yes, okay.
But he was really good. I really liked him. He was with us during the Shiana era. He only played a couple of games, but usually every time he was, and he didn't get on the field a lot, but every time he was on the field, he was causing turnovers and getting pressures and making quarterback throw interceptions. It was just really strange. And Danny Lanzana was like that too. He just popped on tape. Keith Tandy was like that. Man, he used to do some hits that would just decleat guys.
Yeah, he was good on special teams too.
Very good on special teams. Why we got rid of him, I don't know. And why other teams don't pick him up. Lanzana went and he played with somebody after us for a while. Might have been the Giants.
I was thinking the Giants. Follow up.
Yeah. Now follow up on a follow up.
Yeah.
But he just, they just don't seem to stick. And I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a culture of the NFL. You know, there's something there because all industries have their own culture. And if you're not neck deep in that culture, you're not going to survive.
Yeah.
You know, every industry's got its own terminology. They got their own way of doing things. And if you're not well versed in that way, you're not going to survive. And I think that's probably what happens to guys like that. They might be good on the field, but they're not good at other aspects that we're not clued in on.
Yeah, like they might not be political or they may
don't have
be
good
abrasive
agents
with the coaches, good agents.
They may not speak well.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever heard any of those guys speak.
Never. I don't even know what they look like.
Good point. I need to come up with a list of players that really have stood out to me that have disappeared. Derek Landry, he played, I want to say, with Chicago. He bounced around the league for a while before he landed with us, and then he only played in a couple games for a few snaps, and then he was gone.
Wasn't he with Philly? I think he came from Philly.
You know what? I am not going to fact check a follow-up, so we're going to look that up right now. He played from 2007 to 2013. He played with Jacksonville from 2007 to 2009. Played with Carolina in 2010. Philadelphia, you were right, from 2011 to 2012. And then Tampa for 2013. He played in 9 games, only started 1 for us. Let's see how many snaps he had. 123 snaps in 9 games. And out of those 123 snaps, now what I do with my spreadsheets and when I analyze films is I will, when a player makes a play, whether it be a tackle, a forced fumble, bat a ball down, recovering a fumble, any play that's above average, that's positive, I will mark it down. And then I will compare it to how many snaps they play and how many plays they make. And then you get a percentage of to how good they are on the field. And Derek Landry, let's say he had 123 snaps. He probably had 15 plays, which that's 10%. That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, normally guys are around 1-3%. I mean, 10% is off the charts. And I'm just making those numbers up. I don't have it right in front of me. But I don't know. I don't know why. Like Keith Tandy, I don't know why he just couldn't stick with teams, man. I never understood why he never got a starting spot with us.
Yeah.
Everybody loved him.
Right.
When he was on the field, he was making plays. Everybody was like,
he was a good tackler, too.
Very good tackler, good defender, good in coverage. I don't know. Yeah, very good tackler. But God, I hope we get some of them this year.
Speaking of tackling, I was listening to the Ira Kaufman podcast today, and we have talked before about how Dirk Cutter didn't have them tackling in practice.
And amazed at how that wasn't talked about at all.
One of the Joes said that Lovie Smith didn't have him tackle either.
You said that to me, and I'm like, how in the world have we not known for, 6 years now?
Yeah, they have not been tackling in
practice. That's ridiculous. No wonder our defenses suck.
I know.
And tackling has been a huge issue for us.
Absolutely.
Ever since Shiano.
Yeah.
Shiano's the last team defense that I can remember did tackled well.
Yeah. They said that Dirk Cutter had learned from the Jack Del Rio school of thought where you just get the players through preseason with no injuries and then they take it from there. So that's why they didn't have them tackling.
I don't like that philosophy. You don't see injuries nowadays due to tackling that much anymore. Normally they're non-contact injuries.
Yeah. Like Orion Stewart with his ACL.
Or Quan Alexander last year. I mean, you don't get these hard hits and all that anymore. So the getting hurt tackling just doesn't seem to be as frequent as it used to be. So I'm not a big fan of that. And plus, the only way you get good at tackling is tackling. That's not something you can practice.
But in practice, it's not like they're going full force. Like you can tackle without trying to kill your teammates.
Mm-hmm. I remember Shiano had the guys tackling that alligator roll tackling. Man, that was great. Man, we were tackling everybody.
Yeah. Led the league in TFLs that year.
By a huge margin.
Yeah.
Huge margin. We had the 12th best run defense in the history of the NFL. That was 2012 or 2013? Can't remember.
12.
Yeah. So we're sitting here watching the Atlanta game. We're trying to see how their second and third stringers are doing. Not too impressed with anybody so far. Didn't get a chance. We missed the first series, which that's when the first stringers played.
But I don't even think Matt Ryan and Julio Jones dressed out.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to look at their offensive lineman. They have a new guard, and you said that
the guard that they drafted, so they had 2 first-round picks. They got a tackle with the first-round pick, and then a guard with the second.
I'm pretty sure the guard was the first one. Chris Lindstrom, guard from Boston College.
Okay.
Yes.
Guard first, then their tackle, Caleb McGarry from Washington. Apparently, Caleb is undergoing a cardiac ablation procedure. That was yesterday. And it's supposedly minimally invasive and similar to 2 previous procedures he's had.
Whoa.
Yeah. A potential recovery timetable is expected.
So we didn't learn anything from that. All we know is he's had some minor surgery.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good, though. That's a heart thing.
Yeah.
Anytime you have something wrong with your heart, that's not good.
Especially for an athlete.
Ablation?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I hope he gets better. Hope he makes it back by, 2020. That's what I'm hoping. So we wanted to watch these offensive linemen, see how they were going. We didn't get a chance. But what we did find out is that the Carolina Panthers center, the guy that's played with them his whole career, had a stellar career, Ryan Khalil, who retired at the end of last year.
You saw him on All or Nothing crying in the meeting rooms because that was his last season.
Last home game. Yeah, and they got whooped. Well, he has come out of retirement already and signed with the New York Jets.
That is so weird to me. First of all, I know that they signed a replacement for him. That was like their big free agent signing, Matt Paradis. But do you really think if he went back to them and said, I want to come back and play, that they wouldn't take him?
I don't know. Either they didn't want him or he didn't want them.
Yeah.
One of the two. To go to the Jets, though?
Of all places.
Of all places?
Ooh. It's a 1 year, $8 million deal.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But he got through like the whole off season. And then right before preseason, he's like, I got to come back.
It's funny, though. I'm going to go with the fact that he just did not want to play with the Carolina Panthers anymore because they're just a horrible, horrible team. And he would rather play with the bottom-dwelling New York Jets than with the Carolina Panthers. He don't want that pineapple up under putting his hands on his butt anymore. It's like, I see the way you dress, man. What's wrong with you? The Bucs are going to be live streaming the preseason games this year on their website.
Yeah, and the app.
But here's the kicker. It's only locally.
I know. I saw that.
I don't know how much sense that makes, and I'm sure it has to do with licensing rights by the NFL that they can't just put it out there on the internet and everything. But, I mean, if you're local, you can just watch it on TV.
Yeah. You don't even need cable.
Yeah, just get one of those HD TV antennas and bingo. Get them for like $9. You know, you get like 40 channels with those.
Yeah.
We can't get here, though, because I hooked it up. No reception whatsoever. We get because we got steel doors and everything, so nothing gets in here.
I don't know how that works.
You know, we get no signal in here. No cell phone signal, no nothing.
Are we like in a lead box? Is that what it is?
Well, I'm trying to keep Superman from being able to spy on us, too. Or Homelander, if you're watching the TV show The Boys on Amazon Prime. That's a freak there. He's like Superman, but he's a real jerk. Oh. He's got some real issues. Yeah.
I'd imagine you would as a superhero. Like a real God complex.
I've always said that. Yeah, you know, the superheroes, you get all these powers. We're people. You're going to do some messed up stuff.
Yeah. They're all like very righteous and generally good.
Now, Marvel comic books dealt with that a little bit better. They had their heroes would fall into dark side. Like Tony Stark was an alcoholic. Peter Parker was always trying
but their souls were still pure. They were still, their intentions were good.
Sometimes. But not as bad as you would think. I mean, I'll tell you, if I had superpowers, I'd be a supervillain. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'd save people and stuff, but...
Maybe.
Kids
You're like, if I feel like it.
Right, yeah, you know what I mean?
You're kind of a jerk. You cut me off in traffic that one day.
Let's see, I'd be saving kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like grown-ups, I mean, you know, life's tough.
Solve your own problems.
Yeah, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. But DC Comics, that's where Superman and Aquaman and all them, they were horrible about it. They're like superheroes were just, they had no moral conflicts whatsoever. Well, maybe Batman a little bit. But anyhow, this is a Buccaneers podcast. We're not going to get into superheroes. Nerding out over here. Hey, did you see that the team announced that we signed wide receiver Matthew Eaton and tight end Scott Orndorff?
No.
And we also got tackle William Poles off of waivers.
And we got another offensive lineman, too, and they're both huge.
Are they?
Like 6'6".
Oh, another no, wait a minute.
Two offensive linemen. I knew about Pole. I don't know the other one. Hold on. Let me look at my notes. We touched on this briefly last time. William Poles is 6'8", 344 pounds.
What?
This is per Greg Allman. And then Brock Rubel is 6'8", 325 pounds.
Holy crap.
And of course, DeMar Dotson is 6'9". Remember, we talked about a few weeks ago how our offensive linemen, they're all different types of players. Some are athletic, some are big bruisers. And there's no cohesiveness on the offensive line. So it's interesting to me that they're bringing in these really big guys.
It is interesting. Maybe we'll have like a Dallas Cowboys offensive line. I like that.
Yeah, maybe. But what holes do we really have in the offensive line? Really, the guard position is the only one that's unsettled.
Yeah. Who knows? Everybody's complaining about Jensen, too. And he hasn't lived up to his billing and all that. That Poles guy, though, he's been in the league for quite a while, but he hasn't played any. He was drafted. I don't know. I don't see any draft information on it. But he signed with the Tennessee Titans, then waived and then cut and then added and then signed and then waived and then cut and then added and signed and then waived from 2014 to 2016, all that with the Titans. Never played a game for him. And then the Buffalo Bills added him in 2016 to the practice squad and then cut him a month later. Then he was added to the Chicago Bears practice squad. In 2016, he stayed there until January 2017, where he was signed to a reserve future contract. And then Jacksonville Jaguars acquired him in September 3rd, 2017, after the Bears cut him. The Jaguars got him off of waivers, and then they re-signed him March 16, 2018. Never played a snap for them, and then they waived him in September 1st, 2018, and then he was cut the next day. And then Indianapolis Colts signed him to a reserve future contract December 31st, 2018. Then they let go of him. Now we got him. The guy's never played a snap, I don't think. Not a snap. 6'7", 302 pounds is what he's listed here. That's just crazy. Yeah, get these big offensive linemen. So we got Matthew Eaton and tight end Scott Orndorff. Matthew Eaton is a wide receiver. He spent time with Green Bay Packers. He's actually from Norfolk, Virginia. He played at Iowa State. Orndorff, the tight end, he entered the NFL as a college free agent in 2017, signed with the Steelers, then the Cincinnati Bengals practice squad. He spent time with the Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars. He's a native of Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. Played for University of Pittsburgh.
Sounds to me like they're trying to find a diamond in the rough.
Who?
The Bucs. By signing these guys.
Well, Arians has said that that's the reason why he has two practices, because he said you're never going to find a diamond in the rough sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So he tries to get as many people out there as he can, just so he can see if there's anything worth keeping.
And with us not really having that much cap room, these guys who are bottom of the barrel, jumping from team to team, that's really the only type of player we're going to be able to sign. Who's
that little 48? I'm watching the Denver-Atlanta game, and the number 48, Jackson, a little guy.
With the Broncos.
Watch this run. Then Noah Fant. No, that's a tight end.
No, that's the tight end.
Why would they do that?
I think he's their draft pick. Can't hang on to the ball.
Why are they showing Noah Fant after the Jackson just had that good run? Oh, well.
Typical.
I hate that. It drives me crazy.
I bet if we unmuted it, we would hear Chris Collinsworth performing fellatio on him.
Talking about how he played basketball in college.
I bet he went to Harvard. So we talked about the Panthers in Atlanta, the Saints. Michael Thomas's temper tantrum paid off. He got himself a big contract.
We didn't talk about that?
I don't know. Maybe we did. I just thought it would dovetail nicely with
$100 million. First non-quarterback to ever hit the $100 million contract mark. But he's only getting, I want to say, $40 million guaranteed.
60.
60 million. 61 million if you round it up. But this is saying a 5-year, $96 million contract. Where are they getting $100 million from? I don't know. Somebody's wrong. So anyhow, that's a lot of money. So Michael Thomas is getting that money. Drew Brees is getting his money. Armstead, their left tackle's making $16 million this year. Larry Warford, the guard, is making $11 million. Andreas Pete, the other guard, he's making $10 million.
Okay, so of the top 5 players, 3 are offensive linemen on that team. They do have a good offensive line. So maybe there's something to be said for that. I don't know. We're paying our offensive line a good chunk of change.
A crap ton of money, yeah. Which, everybody was talking about, we had to sign Donovan Smith because there's nobody else out there to replace him. Guess what?
What?
The Redskins are losing their Pro Bowl left tackle because he don't want to play with them anymore. That's why they had Donald Penn in there the other day.
Yeah. Trent Williams.
Yep.
So he's holding out not for more money. No. He just doesn't want to play for them.
Yeah.
And they don't want to let him go.
Well, they're trying to trade him. But my point being is there's a left tackle that's a lot better than Donovan Smith that we could have got for a lot less money. I mean, he's looking to get $11 million this year,
What are we paying Donovan? Like 14? 12?
Well, it's a $12.5 million cap hit between his roster and his base salary. But, that was the weirdest argument. And we've talked about this on the podcast ad nauseum when it was going on. Why in the world did the media go along with that? It was like the front office put out their marching orders. Here's your talking points. And then everybody in the media just went with it.
Yeah.
I've never, ever heard that excuse before. Oh, well, we got to pay this guy a shit ton of money because there's nobody out there that we could pay a shit ton of money to.
And he's at least consistent. He's always out there.
Yeah, I mean, good Lord, I would have put just about anybody in that position. And to pay him a lot less. I mean, he really hurt our cap. If you're mad that Gerald McCoy's gone, be mad at Donovan Smith because he took all Gerald McCoy's money. If it's about money, and we all know it wasn't about money.
You can make that argument for anybody. Adam Humphries.
Yeah, Adam Humphries is gone.
Quan
Alexander's gone.
We couldn't do anything in free agency.
Yeah, because Donovan Smith got his big money. We could have put Beninock over there, and it wouldn't have been much worse. And we could have paid him a fifth, $1 million a year.
Not from what I hear from camp. Everybody's talking about how bad Beninock is playing.
Yeah, well,
I feel bad for him. He's like everyone's favorite scapegoat.
Well, that's what happens. It's like last year, he really did shit the bed at the beginning of the year. But also, he was not out there for a full game. He was never out there for the full game all season. He was rotating with Evan Smith for the first half of the year until Evan Smith got hurt. And then he started rotating with Alex Kappa. So Beninock never played a full game. He was in, out, in and out, in and out. That's not good for an offensive lineman. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
I mean, these guys need to be, it's kind of like a running backs. Running backs, you can't just throw a running back out there. That's why I'm not a big fan of running backs by committee because from what I've seen, running backs, they get better as the defense gets tired. And running backs seem to, once they get used to that hitting and running and feeling the field out, they just get better and better and better as the game goes along. I think offensive linemen are the same way. But anyhow, they were swapping Beninock in and out all year long. He never got a ball. But towards the end of the year, he was playing pretty decent. I mean, not spectacular by any means, but he was starting to get mean, and he was kind of knowing what he was doing a little bit. When DeMar Dotson was throwing guys at him, he was able to pick them up somewhat, at least blocking them with his body. But, there's plenty of tackles in the league that we could have got. Plenty. And I just did not understand that narrative. I've never even heard that before. Well, we got to pay this guy a crap ton of money. He's not worth it. Everybody knows it. And they go, well, we got to do it because there's nobody else we can put in his place. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's probably 100 different guys you can put. Well, on one of the podcasts, I sat here and listed off all the left tackles that were available in free agency. And it was what, like 40? There were 20. I know that.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Like, we get into those guys for a lot cheaper. So, I don't know. It was just strange to me.
And frustrating because when he's in a contract year.
Right. Last year was his contract year, and he played like dog crap.
Yeah. Like he just didn't care. Or he knew he was going to get top tackle money. So
We're going to put together a video one day. It's on our list of just Donovan McNabb turned around. Donovan Smith.
How many years has it been since Donovan McNabb has even been in the league? Why is that the first name that came to you?
It's like the most famous Donovan on the planet.
Yeah, I guess so.
Of Donovan Smith turned around watching the quarterback get hit. I mean, there's probably a good 20 solid minutes of footage of him just standing there watching the quarterback get hit. We will all the time. We'll be like, Donovan, what are you doing?
It was at least once a game.
Yeah.
We were screaming at the TV, Donovan, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I would say, and I'm just going off of, I'm just making these numbers up, but I would say on average, Donovan had 5 bad plays a game. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Would you say that most of them were not finishing the play, not playing to the whistle?
Yeah. Most of them were, probably 70%.
So I wonder if they drill that into him, if it will improve.
Yes, I don't think he's talented and physically not able to do this stuff.
Yeah.
It just seems like his gumption just isn't there. Because you'll see, as soon as a guy gets around him or beats him by a step, he just quits. He'll put his arm down to the side and turn around and watch the guy.
Yeah.
He won't try to block anybody else. He won't even go over and try to get the guy off the quarterback.
He just turns into a spectator at that point.
And I'd like to know what he's got to be saying something like, look out, Jameis.
No, it doesn't even look like he's moving or he's not animated or anything.
You expect him to pull like a bag of popcorn out of his shorts and start eating while he's watching.
A soda pop with a straw.
That's horrible.
I don't think he's bad. I think he's average, and I think the effort isn't there.
I think he's got blackmail pictures of Jason Light. That's the only explanation I can come up with. But then again, it's like I'm talking about, you got Keith Tandy on one hand who just pops off on film. I mean, he's just making plays left and right. He's just always in good position, great tackler, doesn't mess up a whole lot. He gets cut. Never gets a starting opportunity. And you got Donovan Smith. He pops off on film for the wrong reasons. There's always at least 4 or 5 times a game where I'm just pulling my hair out going, what are you doing? And he gets a huge contract and starts every game. And you're like, what is it that's there that I'm not seeing? It's got to be some other stuff. Like he's great in the locker room. He's got a good personality. Everybody likes him. Something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it could be any of those. It could also be where he was drafted.
That's probably a good point.
Because with your draft picks, that's a lot of capital that you're investing in these players. Mm-hmm. Guys like Keith Tandy that just walking off the street, you got nothing to lose there if they don't work out.
We did draft Keith Tandy.
We did?
Yes, West Virginia. Him and his best friend who stayed with us for a couple years after Keith Tandy was released. What was his name?
And they were like, we have to go somewhere together. Like one wouldn't sign without the other.
And we signed both of them.
Yeah.
And they were both second stringers for the longest time. Who was it?
The name is like right on the tip of my tongue.
Stick your tongue out. Let me see it.
Blech.
No. Need to brush your teeth.
You're rude.
It was Najee Good. Now, I was wrong. He was with us for 2012. Him and Keith Tandy were they both came in at the same time. Both from West Virginia. Najee Good was drafted in the 5th round, 140th overall. But then we released him. He goes to Philadelphia, and he stayed with Philadelphia until 2017. And last year he was with Indianapolis. So he lasted in the league longer than Keith Tandy. Actually, no, they were both in the league at the same amount of time. Najee Good only started 4 games in his career, none with us. He only played in 3 games for us. But him and Keith Tandy were best friends.
That never happens when we're just talking in conversation together. You just get a surprise list every now and then.
I know. Well, Keith Tandy, he played with us from 2012 to 2017. And then last year, he played with the Falcons. He played in 6 games for the Falcons last year. He started 15 games for us in the 6 years he was here. So he didn't do a whole lot of starting, but he did start a few games. It was mainly due to injury. But he played in almost every game. What was my point? What brought all that up?
I don't know. I'm lost.
We got way sidetracked.
That'll happen.
Let's
get to some Bucs training camp.
Okay.
I listened to a podcast today, specifically Rendak's training camp podcast. He had 3 of them. So that was a good extended look at, every day he's going and doing another journal. So some interesting tidbits.
Now that's Pewtercast, right?
Pewtercast
podcast.
He said Levante's coming off the field in nickel packages, and Devin White is staying in.
Interesting. So there's only one linebacker in the nickel package.
I don't know.
Only one inside linebacker, I guess.
Right. No, they have the 2 outside, probably.
Yeah. So Levante David is coming off the field.
Which, don't they have Devin White calling plays?
Yeah,
So he would have to be on the field, right?
Yeah, he's going to be on the field all the time, pretty much. That's crazy. Levante David is now basically a rotational player.
Yeah, the new guard is here.
That's a shame. Levante David could have had a spectacular career, and I'm not saying his career is over by any means, but I really think the prime of his years were wasted with some crappy defenses.
Lovie Smith did not know what to do with him. They tried to put him in a box.
Mike Smith definitely didn't know what to do with him.
No, absolutely not.
Had him in coverage all the damn time. People say that about Gerald McCoy all the time, that his years were wasted here. But he did whatever he wanted to do. I mean, Gerald McCoy just rushed the quarterback. That's what he did, I mean, he wasn't involved in any of these schemes and stuff. That's the secondary guys. I mean, the defensive line, they have their stunts and twists and all that stuff that they do. A lot of time they call it themselves. Gerald McCoy didn't ever change his play style from the time he was drafted until the time he left here. If you watch tape, it's terrible. He did the same stuff all the time. Levante David, on the other hand, he was assigned all kinds of different crap all over the field. And he was just, I feel like he was, seriously, his talent was wasted. They never used him. Shiano did. But Lovey and Mike Smith never used him for what he was good at. He's not bad in coverage, but, his thing is hunt the ball.
Yeah, he's a ball hawk.
Yeah, good.
He's patient. He's football smart.
Yeah, don't put him in
read a play.
Don't put him in a zone and have him sit there. It's just a waste.
Yeah. You and I talked about Justin Evans the other day.
Mm-hmm.
About how he needs to get his butt on the field.
I don't think
he's going to lose his job.
If what I'm hearing about Mike Edwards is correct, I think Justin Evans is not going to make it.
Well, Ren thinks he's going to make it, and Ira Kaufman said that he's not going to be cut because he's making league minimum.
Well, there's a point to that. I mean, he might be a second, third stringer, man.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that Chicago game. It was the worst performance of a football player I've ever seen in my life. He had no idea what he was doing out there. And I don't know if it was Mike Smith's defense, but everybody else kind of looked like they knew what they were doing. They weren't particularly doing it well, but there was at times where he looked lost. He ran from one side of the field one time at the snap. He was over on the right hash mark. He was actually standing between the right hash mark and the sideline. They snapped the ball. He ran all the way over to the left flat at the snap of the ball and double covered a guy. There was already a guy over there in the flats, one of our defenders, and he ran all the way over there and was just like, what are you doing here? And everybody was like, what are you doing here? Is the kind of impression I got. And it was just crazy stuff like that all through the game. It was really strange. He's never impressed me at all. I've never seen anything where I've gone, this guy is good.
I've heard BA say that he thinks that he's football smart, so he likes that. He's a smart football player. But the injuries are an issue. One of BA's favorite stories to tell is
Wally Pipp
and Lou Gehrig.
Yep.
Wally Pipp didn't play, I think, because of like a migraine and lost his job to Lou Gehrig. No one even knows who Wally Pipp is. So I get that.
Yeah, Bruce Arians is big on if you get hurt, there's a high possibility you're going to lose your job.
Yeah.
Because he trains everybody else to be replacement
the next
people.
Man up.
The next man up. That's what he said. He said, the MVP on the team is the guy that can step in and replace the guy that gets hurt.
Yeah.
Hey, that's straight from the coach's mouth. So, it's not like I'm making this up.
So maybe we keep Justin Evans, but he's a backup, no longer a starter.
Yeah, you figure we got Jordan Whitehead and his Mike Edwards is playing the way he seems to be playing. If he can do this through the preseason, he's going to get the starting job.
Well, Greg Allman tweeted today that the starting secondary is Hargreaves and Davis at corner, Edwards and Whitehead at safety, and Stewart at nickel. Justin Evans ain't in there.
Well, where is Bunting?
I know, Murphy Bunting. I don't know. I mean, these are just the starters. That's not to say that those other guys won't get significant playing time.
Yeah. Don't know.
I'm interested to see those guys in preseason. They're going to be flying around.
Yes.
I want to see what everybody's talking about. Well, you only get so much from training camp.
Yeah, you get these little clips, and of course, I sit there and try to analyze all of it, and you can't because you can't see anything. There's people in the way. It's at ground level.
And how many plays happen where nothing's really happening? Or it's very selective what you get to see.
You get the highlight plays.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see the crap plays. That's where I get the most information.
Yeah.
From the looks of it, that secondary is just. They're fast and long. I mean, they're knocking these balls down.
And making the offense look really bad.
Except Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Nobody's been able to cover him yet.
Ren said that Sue and Vea in the middle are going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Called it here first.
He said basically Vita is like getting through the line and laying down the offensive lineman like gently because it's tackle, but
cradling them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am so excited. You listen to this podcast, I am huge on the Vita Vea. I think he has the potential to be elite, if not Warren Sapp level, even better than Warren Sapp. And that's saying something, because I'm a big Warren Sapp fan. And from what I've seen from Vita Vea, I'm telling you, man, there's something there that I've never seen before. He's got the combination you want of athlete. He's super strong. He's got good balance. He's aggressive, and he's quick as shit. To be as big as he is. I mean, he runs down the field with the best of them.
Yeah, he'll be chasing after a play.
He'll run a quarterback down.
It's crazy.
Anyhow.
Ren said that there are a few plays where Sue and Vita It was just that they came through the line and the play is like immediately dead because they got there so fast.
They're just like
the offense couldn't even do anything. It was like over.
I saw that one play where Sue did that swim move on Ali Marpet and just like walked right past him, and the running back ran into Sue. He was there. Sue was there at the handoff, and the running back got it and just pow.
Didn't even see him.
Yeah, that big wall of a man. Didn't see that.
Speaking of running backs, we haven't heard a lot. I've been hearing the past few days that Rojo is really giving Peyton Barber a run for his money.
Really?
And that Rojo could overtake Peyton for the number 1 spot.
Nah.
But Ren said that Andre Ellington is a really smooth pass catcher.
Oh, he's awesome.
Which BA loves those pass catching running backs.
I saw him make a one-handed grab at practice in the end zone behind his. He was turned around. He had to spin around to grab it, caught it one-handed, and went into the end zone with it. It was beautiful, beautiful. I mean, something you would expect from a slot receiver.
Yeah. See, he could be the favorite to get that number 3 spot.
Oh, that's what I think. I think it's going to be Barber. I don't know about Rojo. I really don't. I don't. Bruce Arians will talk guys up specifically to pump up their confidence and ego. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be a starter or even on the team. He's just trying to help them up. So I don't really listen to what they say as far as judging whether they're going to make the team or not. I don't know about Rojo. I don't know a thing about him. I mean, he only got a few snaps last year. He was bleh. And, from what I've seen from camp, I don't know. I haven't seen anything that's been that impressive, but I haven't seen that much.
Yeah. I think in the past couple of days, it's really started to pick up.
I can't see him get Peyton Barber's job. There's no way. Peyton Barber is a good running back. He's a good running back. He's way underestimated, I think. He's tough. His only problem is, or his big problem, he likes contact too much, and he will seek guys out to hit instead of trying to avoid them. That's the big problem I have with him. I got quite a few times last year, he's got an open field and there's a safety running at him, and he changed his direction to go at the safety instead of trying to get away from him. He just likes contact too much. He wants to bowl people over. He wants to truck guys.
Yeah. I like a running back that likes contact like that.
Me too. I don't like them dancing running backs.
Yeah. Kind of like Doug Martin. He was fun to watch because he was more physical.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Garrett Blunt, he was fun. He wasn't as, he was a little physical, right?
A little bit physical, yeah.
But then he had that finesse where he's like hurdling over guys.
Yes, he was surprisingly spriteful.
Yeah. Last podcast, it just so happened that we talked about Chris Godwin with his drops, having a case of the drops last season.
And
Ren said that he's not dropping as many in practice.
In general, I don't know if he had that many drops, but there was one game in particular.
They were easy catches that he should have had. They were like right in his hand, and then he just let them go. And
they were big time drops in the sense that we needed him to make that catch in that situation. And it was when he took over for Deshaun Jackson when he was hurt. So that's when we were like, man, can this guy not handle the spotlight and the pressure?
Yeah, it might be the pressure. Could be.
Not a whole lot of pressure in training camp.
It's true. Another receiver, Scotty Miller, that we've heard about.
I like Scotty Miller.
Yeah. Ren said he's got the most separation in the deep routes of all the receivers. Not a surprise there, because all we've heard is about his speed.
He is fast. Just watching his college film, that guy is blazingly fast. It's just weird how he looks. He makes everybody else out there look slow, But you brought up that might be all good and well, but how is his ability to take contact?
Yeah.
And he was so fast in college, he didn't get hit a whole lot from what I saw. So that's a big question. He's a small guy.
Especially in the slot like that. You get hit over the middle.
Perriman is going to be an interesting one, because I as soon as we got him, I watched film, and he was okay. He seemed to be able to get some separation on the deep routes and stuff, but
I haven't heard much from him in training camp.
He did
no one's really talking about him.
He did really good with Cleveland last year for the long passes, when Mayfield hooked up quite a bit. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see how our wide receiver lineup is going to be. We got a lot of not really the only position group that's relatively solid is a tight end and offensive line minus the right guard and the middle of the defensive line. Other than that, everything else is up for grabs.
Yeah. They did a round table.
And the quarterback.
of some of the podcasters. So that one was cool. You got a lot of different perspectives. I've never listened to Mr. Bucks Nation. He's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He was there. I think that he was the one that said they seem to have better communication in training camp than they did in years past. And he wondered how much the music had an impact on that.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Which I never thought about. I don't recall when we went to training camp whether the music was that loud.
No, it was not that loud. But we were also there very early in the training camp process.
Yeah. I don't even remember music. Do you?
No.
It doesn't stand out to me. But maybe because it wasn't an issue then. It's like an issue now.
I don't know. I can go back. I got video. We can watch the video.
Yeah.
See if there was music playing. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. We'll have another podcast out Monday. See what the score is on the Hall of Fame game. Hopefully Atlanta's getting beat so bad that all the first stringers quit. Julio Jones decides to go and sign with let's say the Jets. Go there.
Or he'll come to the Bucs for league minimum.
He'll actually pay us to come
Just
play.
out of the kind of something. There's 48 again.
There he is. He's good. I like him.
Shifty running back.
Little
He's a
Jackson.
tiny guy. He looks like Jacquizz Rodgers.
Uh-huh. Yep, 7-7.
Third quarter.
All righty. We're going to wrap this up and finish watching this game. Till next time.
Go Bucs.